pick. But, man, he's very productive. He's a very productive dude. 18.7% pass rush win percentage over the last 2 years, 90.6 pass rush grade, 90.4 pass rush grade on true pass sets. He's just a smaller player. Like, him being 6'1", he's got longer arms, which you love, but being just 6'1", the stride length's a little bit shorter. So when he's coming in pursuit off the backside, or if he's trying to pursue the linebacker, the ball carrier, he's a little bit slower in that regard. But I think he packs a good punch at contact. I think he's got a wide variety of pass rush moves that he could go to. Day 3 guy, but somebody who, again, if you put him in this designated pass rusher spot as a stand-up outside linebacker, I think he could win for you, and I think he could bring a lot of value as a contributing guy. So Kymon Rucker, to me, is somebody who is just getting a little bit forgotten about right now. And if it was a less deep edge rush class, he could be in the conversation at the back end of some top 10s for some people, but just because of how deep the class is, I can understand why he's getting pushed a little bit further down. So I felt like Javon Solomon should have got drafted at least a round earlier than what he got drafted at last year. I think the same thing with Rucker. I feel like he should be a early day 3, round 4 type of a pass rusher.
Yeah, people forgot about Rucker this year, mostly because he missed basically the entire first half of the season with an injury, and then he came back. He was really good down the second half, the stretch of the season in the second half, 25 pressures in his last 5 games. And I think you really need to go back to the 2023 tape to get the full brunt of what you get out of Rucker. He had an 89 pass rush grade, 60 pressures. He was one of the best pass rushers in the country, and I remember watching him at North Carolina. The word that comes to me for him is violence. Like, he's pissed off, and he's a guy, anytime that he got a clean shot on a quarterback with a step or two of momentum, I started to cringe a little bit. I was worried about people's health, Trevor, because I'm like, this guy wants to hit people, right? If you're going to be a little bit undersized like this, and I'm about to talk about another guy in a second with this same mentality, but he's somebody to me that quarterbacks, I'm like, you don't want to take a free shot in the ribs from Kymon Rucker. I'll tell you that right now. He's very productive. I think he's fallen off boards because, honestly, I think people just forgot about him. I really do. I think with the injuries and then the way North Carolina's season went, where they had quarterback issues and didn't contend for anything this year, I think he's a guy who's forgotten about. You're absolutely right. He could be a round 4 or 5 steal.
He had a quote when he was coming back from injury. God, I can't remember what the quote was. Oh shoot, I think I found it here. Okay, here we go. Yeah. This is from an article from Tar Heel Times. How much does Kymon Rucker love football? So much that when he returned from injury that kept him off the field for 4 games, he was just happy to have the pads on. Quote, shoot, I was in uniform, so that was happy for me. The staff was like, be ready to not play a lot. And I said, bro, that's fine. I got my uniform on. I'm happy. Like, the dude just loves football. It was in a situation where he wanted to play. The team was like, all right, yeah, you're cleared, but like, we're gonna ease you into this because of lower body injury. He had surgery to miss those 4 or 5 games. And then when he came back, he's like, dude, I'll stand on the sideline in my full pads. I don't care. You can play me for 1 snap. I'm going to put my pads on if you're going to give me the opportunity to put on a uniform. So you love that motor. You love that mentality about him too. And like you said, he plays like that. So, okay, who's your first guy that you're bringing to the table?
Okay, so the next one I have here, in the same mold of pissed off, undersized edge rusher, Trev, I absolutely love Josiah Stewart from Michigan. You should. I'll be honest with you. I'll start with the flaws. You're just talking about a guy who's, yes, undersized. Yes, the lack of length comes out a little bit in his tackling. But otherwise, it's just kind of, it is what it is when it comes to that and his build. Because in his game and his actual skill set, I don't think we have a ton of flaws here. I'm being real with you. He's an absolute dog. He's another guy. He's at 100 miles an hour all the time, every single play. And at that size, you have to be, right? But he makes up for it with excellent speed off the edge, right? And I think he knows how compact he is and how he can use that to his advantage, that natural leverage that he has. He's got great closing speed. Again, just like Rucker, loves to hit people, attacks pullers, not afraid of pullers at all. When you talk about, okay, I got a smaller guy, I got a 310-pound guard running at him, what's going to happen? He does not care at all. This is somebody... Look, he's going to have a specialized role. He's probably going to be a designated pass rusher. It's going to be hard for him to play the run every single snap. You're not going to see him as a featured guy playing 70 snaps a game either. But I think you're talking about somebody in Josiah Stewart. To me, I think in the 3rd round, If you need help off the edge, even again, if you're Atlanta and you're going other spots early, if you need a center for whatever reason, on day 2 to replace Dahlman, if you're going corner early, I think Josiah Stewart's a guy that teams are going to absolutely love. Second in the nation this year in pass rush win rate, 27.7%. Third in pass rush grade at 92.3. And even for his size and playing at Michigan, obviously life is easy with Graham and Grant on the inside, but 83.7 run defense grade. I think Josiah Stewart profiles as somebody who could really help a team's defensive line, to me, likely in the 3rd round.
You see him right there, number 69 overall on the PFF big board that we have there. That is in my opinion, 3rd round pick. Like this, size be damned. This is the type of football player that you want on your team. This is a Nick Bonito type of a player, right? And I think everybody shouts out the Nick Bonito role, but that's because that's been the most successful. I could see Josiah Stewart getting that sort of playing time as that designated pass rusher type of a stand-up outside linebacker player. He increases the team speed that you have, and the output that he had over the last couple of years has been absolutely fantastic. I'll shout out Quandarius Robinson from Alabama. This is somebody who, not often do you get a player from Alabama that's considered a sleeper, but because of sort of his journey, he was on the team. He was with Will Anderson and Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell for most of his career while he was at Alabama. You see him right there. He's ranked 106 on the PFF big board. I think he should be, just because of lack of production overall, I don't think that he is going to make it into the day 2 conversation. I think he'll be probably a priority day 3 pick type of a guy because redshirted his first year in 2020, played on special teams basically as a reserve guy in 2021, 2022, and 2023, even though he was active for all of those years. He missed a lot of time this past season while he was allowed to be a full-time starter. I should say he earned the job as a full-time starter. That's a better way to say it. He suffered an elbow and a forearm injury that forced him to miss a good chunk of games this season. But while he was out there, 341 snaps for him, 19% pass rush win percentage. That's 93rd percentile. Dude knew how to get after the pass rusher. And the thing is, we've talked about a couple of guys on this show that maybe if you fix their lower body mechanics, if you fix their footwork a little bit, Robinson is one of those guys where I would watch him as a stand-up rusher, and I'd be like, okay, this is clearly a pass rush play. It looks like he's pinning his ears back. He's getting after the quarterback, and that's what he would do. But his feet weren't pointed to the target correctly. They weren't pointed to the backfield correctly. He would launch off the back foot instead of loading off of that front foot to give him even more of an advantage. But man, this dude knows how to get off the ball. He's got long arms to him, which make him tough for offensive tackles to handle. And I just think that there's a lot of potential to what he could bring as a stand-up outside linebacker, given some of that length. You talk about a couple of these guys and playing that outside linebacker pass rush position, but also having that length to be able to wrap guys up and tackling and defend the run and shuffle along the line of scrimmage, defend options and outside zone and things like that. So Quandarius Robinson, he's going to take a little bit of a development. He's not going to be some guy that I think is going to be able to step in right away and just be dominant at the NFL level. But second half of his rookie contract, you might have something here with this player. So again, we don't get a lot of Alabama players that are thought of as sleepers, especially guys that were 4-star recruits, guys who were very highly recruited. He was a top 80 recruit in the country. He just stuck around at Alabama, sort of waited for his playing time to manifest. It did this past year, but then he got hurt. So a lot of reasons why he hasn't been able to break out yet and why his